strandings on all 3,150 miles of coastline here in the state of Maryland. And our work with partners to restore dunes and grasses and wetlands and native forests throughout the entire Chesapeake Bay watershed are a critical part of our mission and, of course, for the Chesapeake Bay. While we are an important part of Maryland's economy, 2/3 of our visitors come from out of state. So from all of the governors represented here from all of their states, we welcome our visitors from the entire Chesapeake Bay watershed. We are honored to host you all here today. We understand the countless hours that went into creating this groundbreaking agreement, along with the critical need for us to work together as partners to restore and protect the Chesapeake Bay that we all love. As a native Marylander, I want to thank you, everyone who had a hand in working on this agreement. We are excited for our partnerships with the Bay program, and we are excited to be here today as a partner to work on restoring the Chesapeake Bay. Have a wonderful meeting.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jen. Good morning, everybody. Jen, first, I want to thank you, and thank you for the leadership that you continue to show, but also thank you to the entire National Aquarium team. This is not a small act or a small feat to bring so many people here during this time, and so we thank you for always being such a crown jewel in our state and a crown jewel in our crown jewel of the amazing city of Baltimore. So it is wonderful to be with you, and again, thank you so much. Thank you. And also on behalf of the entire Chesapeake Bay Program Partnership, I want to welcome everyone to the public portion of our 2025 Executive Council meeting. And I want to start just with a huge degree of thanks to everybody that made this happen, to all of our teams, to the staff, to all the members of the executive committee, to all of our staff committee and management board members, to all of our working groups, to all of our interested parties, everybody who made today not just special and important, but something that is going to be lasting. You know, we think about this organization, I think for each and every one of us, that this is not just a membership organization. These are all working groups. Because for each and every one of us, we understand how much work is required, how much work is necessary, and the type of collaboration and kind of partnership that is going to be necessary and required in order for us to continue making sure that we meet this moment. And so I would also, as we begin to start, when we talk about the partners that are going to be necessary, I would be remiss if I didn't start off with acknowledging the Indigenous Conservation Council of the Chesapeake Bay. We had and by the way, they are represented here by Chief Richardson, by Chief Adams, by the Tribal Councilman Ort, and also by the Second Assistant Chief Stewart, who are here joining us in the front row. We were blessed by the gods to have the opportunity this morning to be able to spend time in our closed door meeting, to be able to share stories and shared blessings of the past, but also shared aspirations for the future. And we know that the work of this commission would not be complete without the ICC, without your leadership, without your guidance, and without making sure that our tribal lands and our tribal peoples are deeply ingrained with any future vision that we have, because the heirloom of the Chesapeake Bay is not ours. It is all of ours, collectively. And so having you here really means a great deal to us. So God bless you, and thank you so much. I want to highlight from our closed session just 6 items, action items, that we've taken that we're pleased to share with the public. The first is that we received and discussed our annual recommendations from our 4 advisory committees. 4 because I'll mention a second why we've added 1 as well. The second, we received a state of the program report from EPA's Bay Program's new director, Dr. Dan Coogan. The third, we approved revisions to the existing 2014 Chesapeake Watershed Agreement, which will help set the stage for the next 15 years of our partnership together. The fourth, we approve structure and governance recommendations to simplify and also amplify our work The fifth, we've included a charge to include tribes as a formal and enduring partner in the Chesapeake Bay program, with recommendations to be completed in the first half of 2026. And the sixth, we elected my colleague and friend, Governor Josh Shapiro of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to serve as the next chair of the Executive Council. You will hear more on each and every one of these items shortly. But I first do want to take a moment just to acknowledge the progress that we have made collectively. Because knowing that progress does not happen because of a single initiative or single moment, that partnership produces progress, and nothing else ever will. And the momentum that we are now seeing throughout the Chesapeake Bay to be able to protect this heirloom is because of partnership. That we're only 40 years into a concerted effort to make sure that we're restoring the Chesapeake Bay and the land and the waterways that surround it, knowing that we did not create it, but it is our job to protect it. And I say only with intentionality because I understand that 40 years is nearly half an average lifetime. But we also want to be clear that there were no challenges that we inherited that were too intimidating for this group. That by 1980, after 100 years of mass industrialization, the Bay was dying. A combination of fertilizers and pesticides, wastewater pollution, trash, and debris were not just killing fish and wildlife, but also for many people, and for many people in our jurisdictions, it was killing a way of life. That the lands and the waters that surrounded the Bay were in trouble due to unchecked forest and habitat loss. So we saw how the federal government stepped up, that the EPA brought together scientists and studied the issue and released a landmark report in the fall of 1983 that ignited a movement to save the Bay and also save its watershed. And since then, we have all then worked collectively, understanding our shared responsibility to make sure that we were getting it right as individual jurisdictions as well. That we have promoted farming practices that reduce fertilizer runoff. That we built natural habitats like oysteries and wetlands and conserved natural spaces all across the watershed. That our progress thus far has been undeniable, but we also know that we have more work to do. That since 2014, Bay partners have reduced nitrogen and phosphorus runoff by more than 15% compared to 2009. We're proud of that. And there's more work to do. That today we work together to add billions of oysters, plant millions of trees, educate thousands of students every single year, some of whom you might have passed as you were coming in here, seeing our amazing students from the state of Maryland, to make sure that we're educating them not only be part of the process, but understand that they should be educated on why this work is so necessary and so required as well. And so, especially in this time of this political divisiveness and vitriol, the thing that I want to remind people is that whether it's up on this stage or here in the audience, we have people from multiple different states and jurisdictions, people from multiple different political backgrounds, political experiences, family experiences. But regardless of what separates us, we're here all united with a common goal. Protect the Bay. Protect its history. Protect the people who rely on its for livelihood. Protect the chance that for each and every one of our future generations, that they can have something that they can flourish in and enjoy and celebrate. Protect the farmers. Protect the entrepreneurs. Protect the land. Protect our people. And I want to take time to extend a special thank you to all the people who were there working so hard, but also I want to take a moment to give a special acknowledgement to Maryland's Secretary of Natural Resources, Secretary Josh Kurtz. Secretary Kurtz has been an outstanding leader and someone who is full of not just vision, but fire to make sure that we meet this moment. And Secretary Kurtz, because your leadership serving as chair of the Bay Program's Principal Staff Committee for these past 2 years and has worked tirelessly to get these revisions drafted and also tirelessly to work to get them approved. I think I saw Secretary Kurtz when we approved them this morning. I thought I saw a tear drop. So I want to say thank you for the leadership you continue to provide. And also just thank you to all of our partners here around the table for their commitment to doing what's right, to make sure that we're protecting our region. I know for each and every one of us, we take a certain level of pride. You know, I know when I talk about the Bay, it's my Bay here in the state of Maryland. And I know that in the Commonwealths of Virginia and Pennsylvania and Delaware and Washington, D.C., they all say the same things. But I actually want to thank all of our colleagues here at the table for taking that level of ownership, for understanding that it is ours and we have to protect it. And then when each and every one of us continue to do our parts, we're going to make our community stronger and better because of it. And so before we move on to the to the next official phase of this, I was wondering if we could actually have the members here at the table with this beautiful sign that we have here right next to the beautiful flag of the state of Maryland. If we could ask everyone to join us up for a quick picture, and then we'll continue with this work going forward. I mean, it was positioned there intentionally, but. Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Good?
Yes, a lot.
All right, let's go. I would now like to turn the microphone over to my friend, Virginia's Governor Glenn Youngkin, to share his remarks. But before he grabs the microphone, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that this is his final meeting. And I want to use the moment of his final meeting just to say, Glenn, thank you. You know, when you have not found a person who is willing to push for the kind of progress that we knew that we had to accomplish, but we had to accomplish collectively, like we've seen from you. The push for speed, the push to say, can we go faster, which we love here in the state of Maryland. But we're just incredibly grateful because you have continued to just make sure that we can make just demonstrable progress on an issue that many people thought was too difficult for us to be able to tackle. That during his tenure in the Commonwealth, that Virginia has been an absolute key and crucial partner to the Bay's restoration efforts. That during his tenure, we've seen how our states have restored oysters in 11 Chesapeake Bay tributaries and managed our crab fishery. That Marylanders as a whole, and I know I can speak for every single one of us, that we are grateful to have had a partner like you working on these issues of the Bay. And while this is your last meeting, he has been very clear that he is not going anywhere. So even if it's whether he's sitting there heckling us or whatever it is, we know that Glenn Youngkin, your impact is not just felt, but also deeply, deeply appreciated. So, Mr. Governor, Congratulations on a great tenure, and the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Governor Moore. Thank you for your leadership. And good morning, everyone. What an honor it is to be in Baltimore. And I was just sharing with Governor Moore earlier, my parents lived here for a number of years. And I have been to this spectacular aquarium many times. And so I'm so happy to see it once again, but also to see so many children here. And that's what this is all about. So welcome to this most important meeting. I have to say that as we are together renewing our commitment to the Chesapeake Bay, it is not just a renewal of commitment, but it is a redoubling of our efforts to make progress that is not only aspirational, but it is progress that is fast. And that's one of the main themes I think that this renewed commitment embodies, is not just aspirational goals, but achievable goals that we will achieve in a reasonable, if not surprising, pace. I would first just like to apologize. I'm going to have to step out after I share my comments, as I have a funeral to attend today. But I want to thank the leadership of all of those here. I particularly want to thank the leadership from the Virginia tribes that are here. It is such an honor to continue to work with you in this most important and noble effort. I also want to thank our new chairman, Chairman Shapiro, for your willingness to step up and lead. I said earlier that one of the very important parts of this commission is that governors are involved. And when governors step up and are involved, amazing things can happen. And so thank you. Thank you both. And Governor Mayor, thank you for your involvement as well. Partners mean everything. And as I look around this room and we see the work that has been done over the course of the last, particularly 4 years of our engagement, I have to say the progress has been extraordinary. We came together and decided that we wanted to not just accelerate progress, but we wanted to make sure that that progress was felt by all partners. And that's exactly what has happened. The work that's necessary to revise the historic 2014 Chesapeake Bay Watershed Agreement was a huge, huge lift. We charged the team with accomplishing it in a year. And we watched lots of people shifting in chairs when we charged them with that. And today we have the great honor of moving forward with the revised agreement. But we also charged the team without any acknowledgement to the weight of the work to not restart, but to build upon. And I think that is the key to moving forward. The huge effort that we have made over many, many years is the foundation. And that gives us a great foundation to move forward. I want to particularly thank Stephanie Talion, who is the Secretary of Natural and Historic Resources in Virginia. When I asked Stephanie to get this done in a year, she didn't hesitate. And then I watched her buckle as she walked out of the room. But that's what it takes. It takes leadership. And so, Stephanie, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. I do believe that we set goals and we have to demand outcomes, and then we must make decisions based on data and results. And when we do this, we then can set and achieve realistic and demonstrable achievements. And that's what this is all about. You see, if we set goals that can never be met, they're ignored. If we set goals that are easily achieved, then there is no effort. And when we have commitment plus effort, we can get extraordinary outcomes. And that's what this is all about. I was ready to accelerate this whole pace. I think we've settled on a very good framework. A framework that sets 2040 as the next huge milestone date and yet provides intermediate checkpoints along the way that is critically important to adhere to. Checkpoints that hold ourselves accountable so that we will indeed see the kind of progress that we've made in the last 4 years continue. That's why this is so important. We focused on partnership. We focused on bringing together communities, bringing together stakeholders, bringing together federal, state, local, tribal leadership in order to make sure that we are all pulling on the oar. That's how we make progress. I have to say that this revised agreement does something that I think is particularly important. It places a great emphasis, an important emphasis on monitoring. Models are important, but we have to pair models with actual outcomes. My strong belief is that when we pair these two together and we give equal weight, we will see that the outcomes have in fact been better than predicted by the models. And therefore that will guide our investments towards even more effective collaboration to reach those outcomes. It's when we are guided, yes, by a model and an algorithm and a process that we believe will work, paired with real result data that demonstrates that it does work, that allows us to be the most effective in our investments. You then at that point can invest more in those demonstrated successful efforts and candidly invest less or none in things that don't work. That is our next stage. And we will continue to see an acceleration of our efforts when we do this. This complementary existence of modeling and yes, real results will, I think, provide us an even greater accelerator. Now, in Virginia, we believe strongly in collaborating, and I've heard from all of my colleagues that this effort has existed throughout the watershed. We met one-on-one with over 30 stakeholder groups for direct feedback. As we said earlier today, we had a chance to not only meet with, but embrace the Indigenous Conservation Council. This is critically important, and I will go back to my earlier comment. We must embrace practices that work. And we have partners who have been doing this for over 10,000 years, practices that work. Throughout our administration, protecting the Chesapeake Bay has been a primary goal. I grew up on the Bay. I've seen the Bay decline and I've seen it recover. There is a particular affection that I personally have, but also a recognition that the Bay is a true gift from an almighty creator. And therefore we have a responsibility and an obligation to go to work together. We have to, once again, acknowledge and celebrate the progress that we have made, and yet challenge ourselves to do even more. When I first came into office, we had goals that candidly didn't have a plan matched with them to meet. And as I said, goals with no hope of achieving them really aren't goals. They become fiction. But over the course of the last 4 years, we went to work. We went to work, one, committing ourselves to make sure that financially we were going to participate the way that the Commonwealth of Virginia should. We've been fortunate. We've had over $10 billion of surplus revenue over the last 4 years. That's enabled us to fundamentally change our investment in pursuit of achieving the combined aspiration to not just restore the Chesapeake Bay, but to protect it forever. During this time period, we took what had been a $40 million allocation in 1 year to over $675 million in allocations to best management practices, which is one of the biggest areas of progress across the entire watershed. We've watched the Virginia Agricultural Cost Share Program go from roughly 1,900 participants to 2,500 participants. More people engaged, more funds flowing in this public-private shared responsibility, and enormous results. We've seen 3 million pounds of nitrogen reduced from the agricultural sector. We've seen 246,000 pounds of phosphorus loads reduced from agricultural sources. And yes, the big step function change in both of those measures has happened when we invest and we partner and we demand results. That, my friends, is why we have seen such progress. Now, as a boy from Virginia Beach, I particularly have an affinity for oysters. And I have to say, this past year, when we hit our 2025 oyster restoration outcome goals by completing 5 tributaries, and then we just threw in a 6th bonus because we like oysters in Virginia, we have restored over 1,000 acres of oyster habitat. We had a bumper year with oysters this year, record loads, and we've invested over $22 million to make sure that we are restoring this most important habitat. We established a statewide wetlands technical team, hugely important to begin to think about how we can work together in order to accelerate our progress in wetlands restoration. And our Blue Ribbon Oyster Panel, Governor Moore is going to work hard in order to make sure that Virginia is doing its part in order to take care of this most important species. Virginia governors are limited to 1 term. I have to say it keeps the mind focused. I sit here and look at my 2 friends, and as they prepare for running for their 2nd term, I might be a little envious. But what that means is during your 4 years, you have to set priorities and engage. And one of the things that I've felt most strongly about is that Virginia is not just party to an agreement, but we will in fact lead. And that's why I'm so proud of the work that collaboratively we have done. You see, you can embrace fiscal responsibility, pro-business practices, regulatory reduction, and preserving and conserving God's gifts to all of us. They are not mutually exclusive. It is an and moment and not an or. And I think oftentimes we fall into traps of there being only or moments. And this is an and moment for all of us. We can progress on all fronts, and we can do it responsibly. And that's why I'm so excited by the fact that we have had record reduction in pollutants, and the Chesapeake Bay is as clean as it has been in decades. Record reduction of pollutants, and a bay that is clean as it's been in decades. My friends, that's work that all of us should celebrate together. And yet we know what comes after that is our collective commitment to raise the bar, to do more, and yes, to do it faster. Faster permitting. I know all states are working on this. In Virginia, we've reduced permitting times by 70%. Find projects, apply for permits, and you will receive them so that we can put the money that we have appropriated to work to achieve outcomes. That's what this is all about. And therefore, I again want to finish where I started. Thank you. Thank you to all of you for your commitment to, again, to preserve and conserve God's amazing gifts to all of us. And again, this is an and moment where we not only can bring forth great policy across all fronts, but we can do it together. And therefore, Governor Moore, thank you for your leadership. Governor Shapiro, I look forward to your leadership. And yes, I do commit myself to drafting a letter or 2, just encouraging you to keep going and to go faster. And with that, I ask for God's blessings on each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Governor Youngkin, and Godspeed to you in your travels. We'll now turn it over to longtime friend and Delaware's new governor, Governor Matt Meyer. Welcome aboard, sir.
From the guy leaving to the guy who just is getting warm here in their seat. It's good to see everyone today. My name is Matt Meyer. I'm the governor of the first state, the state of Delaware. For those who have seen Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last.
You always got to do this.
It's good.
I just wanted to remind people.
Just let him go.
You know, Jen, I enjoyed your intro here, starting talking about the aquarium. I think you said there have been 60 million visitors here. And I wanted to just start by talking very, very briefly, a few seconds, about two of those 60 million visitors. When I was a kid, my mom worked real long days. And I had a brother and sister who I think maybe it bothered my mom as much as it bothered us. We didn't get much time with her. And so she had this thing called special days. If there's any parent there who's having trouble finding time, I'd encourage you to do special days, where I think it was once every couple months we could pick, you know, as an 8, 9-year-old, I could pick anywhere. And I'd have a day with my mom. And after I picked Dunkin' Donuts 6 consecutive times, my mom decided that she was going to pick. And she picked the new Baltimore Aquarium. And it was, do you guys still have the tropical rainforest? I'm embarrassed to say I have not been back since. I've been plenty busy with tourist attractions in Delaware. You should check them out. So I have not been back, but this is really, Governor Moore, this is really the ideal place for us to be here, celebrating accomplishments of this group and preserving life and livelihood and small business, often the viability of agriculture and the sustainability of our communities and our planet in the Chesapeake Bay Watershed. This is a place, this is a facility that every day celebrates planet, celebrates profit, and ultimately celebrates people. So thank you for hosting us today. It's truly an honor for me to be here. And it's an honor to be here as I see the gavel passed from Governor Moore to Governor Shapiro, to our two largest neighbors, so committed to environmental sustainability, and also to Governor Youngkin's point, making sure that businesses can thrive, making sure people can thrive, making sure that when we're looking at regulating, when we're looking at preserving our waterways, our land, our air, and our water, we're not putting undue restrictions on communities so they continue to thrive and celebrate the freedom that we all enjoy. Across 200,000 miles of waterway, the Chesapeake Bay and its watershed are our treasure for our 6 states and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. In fact, truly a treasure for the nation at large. I also just want to recognize, as someone who I presume, like a lot of people in this room, have spent time outside this country and around the country, there are many, many waterways that we can point to where stakeholders are in conflict with each other. We can even find wars that have been fought in similar situations where there are stakeholders with, at times, conflicting interests over a waterway like the Chesapeake Bay. And it's really a credit to my predecessors in Delaware and each of the individuals seated up here, including Governor Youngkin, for sitting at the table bipartisan with a multitude of different interests. The tribal nations coming together and saying, we have a shared future here. And if we don't address that shared future in a collaborative way, every single one of us will lose. Over a third of Delaware's land, over 1/3 of our state's land is within the Chesapeake watershed. We cherish its value for our local communities, for wildlife, and for our economy. There's an old adage that if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. And I'm proud to see the accomplishment, and I'm excited about being a part of it and signing on to this revised agreement today. In Delaware alone, there are so many interests in this waterway, and I know other governors often know that it's not just a matter of us finding ways to work with each other. Often it's a matter of thinking creatively to work among our own, collaborating with local governments, with conservation districts, with various stakeholder groups and organizations, and even within government, with our Department of Agriculture and our Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control. I would not be here today without the steady hand and courageous leadership of our Secretary of the Environment. I am the 4th governor he is serving, so you can imagine what a treasure it is to have an individual like that. When you're starting, you're like, okay, what is this Chesapeake Bay? What? Oh, I get to go to the aquarium? That's cool. What do I do there? But I want Greg Patterson. Will you raise your hand? Greg, thank you for your leadership for the people of Delaware. We are taking bold efforts in Delaware to making sure this watershed is preserved, not just with the 2040 horizon in mind, but the chair of the ICC, Chief Richardson, earlier said to us that in her community, they look 7 generations down the line. And I like thinking about things that way. This is 7 generations down the line. There are a lot of things we can substitute out in government. We can eliminate departments. We can create offices. We can revise and renew things. The Chesapeake Bay will be here to stay. It's the only one we've got. We're installing stormwater retrofits. We're promoting green infrastructure practices. We're improving water quality. We're restoring habitats and riparian buffers. We're doing it in data-driven ways. We're fortunate to have technological tools, and like any other time in history, to measure the impact of what we're doing. I'm not going to look in the eye and tell you everything we're doing is working. But what I will tell you is we have measures in place so that when they do not work, we can redirect and reorient our policy to reflect that. We're improving the safety and quality of our water. Where necessary, we hold polluters to account. Just in the first few months, we pretty dramatically increased fines on those that are intentionally hurting our land, our air, and our water. And we're allocating more funding to the most highly impacted communities. We're addressing PFAS contamination, making sure that is kept out of our waterways. We're making sure data centers are sited responsibly, and when there are large-scale data center projects, they pay their fair share, and in every way they protect our waterways. We're preserving agricultural land, and we're making conservation a priority in each of Delaware's counties. At the local community level, we're working hard to empower local communities to strengthen data collection and public engagement. We're aligning incentives through things like nutrient reduction and best agricultural management practices. We're increasing cover crops or incentives for increased cover crops on family-owned farms. For instance, through the Nanticoke Watershed Alliance Creek Watchers program, an alliance with one of our tribal nations, community members annually monitor water quality to track long-term watershed and groundwater health. All these efforts and more help us to restore habitats, sustain fisheries, enhance water qualities, and make our watershed increasingly resilient. We can't succeed at this if we don't cooperate. If there's a single state, if there's a single city, there's a single county among us that disregards what we're doing and pollutes without regard, we are all the worse because of it, as will be our children and grandchildren. The future of our Chesapeake Bay hinges on all of us continuing to come to the table, participating in tandem through work groups, committees, and shared accountability framework. It also hinges on our federal partnership with the EPA, with state, nonprofit, and local partnerships, enabling us to fulfill our watershed implementation plans and reduce the nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediment in the water. We know things are changing. The relationship between federal and state government is changing, and nowhere is that more apparent than in environmental regulation. When the federal government lets us down, we must step up as state and local governments to protect our people, and we must unite together to demand that the federal government holds on to its responsibility to preserve land, air, and water for future generations of Americans. Let me close with this. This is an exciting time. There's exciting technology simply in this room there are knowledge bases that we have not yet tapped into to better preserve the water in which all of our communities rely. So let's continue to collaborate. Let's continue to innovate and unite now behind Chairman Shapiro. Let's unite around our common goals, make progress towards creating healthier landscapes, helping wildlife and fisheries thrive, cleaning up our water and keeping communities engaged. At the end of the day, it's pretty simple. If we don't take care of our natural resources, we will lose them forever. And thankfully, this partnership, while not perfect, is moving us in the right direction. We've seen tremendous progress in recent decades, as has been said. And I look forward to doing my part on behalf of the million Delawareans to making the Chesapeake Bay watershed healthier and more resilient, improving our communities and strengthening our economies in the process. Much of what I learned in life was from this aquarium, but I learned much more as a public school teacher once upon a time in the District of Columbia Public Schools. And so it's now my highest honor to introduce the mayor, I believe the longest serving or among the longest serving mayor in our nation's capital, Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, thank you, Governor, and thank you for those great words. And I think it is fitting that the microphone is passed from the first state to the next state. And I will be very happy when there is also a governor of the 51st state. And so to our friends here at the aquarium, we are just very proud to call you our neighbor, and thank you for hosting so many DC Public School students. I also want to acknowledge my friend Governor Moore for his outstanding leadership in the state of Maryland. Please give the governor a big round of applause. I too had the chance to thank Governor Youngkin for his service to the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I welcome and congratulate Governor Shapiro on his leadership, on his upcoming leadership of this body. Washington, D.C. is a very proud signatory, original signator to the Chesapeake Bay program. And we are a mighty jurisdiction in the work that we do in these areas. So for those of you who don't know all about us, you know this. We're not exactly a state. We're not quite a city. I serve as the county executive, the mayor, and the governor. And I say frequently that one reason why it's hard to get people to understand our status and disenfranchisement in our system is that we get a lot done with both hands tied behind our back. And it is also true that protecting the environment and combating climate change has been part of our work over the last 10 years of my administration. And local DC has been very focused on this work as well. When I came into office in 2015, we had a fresh set of goals coming off the 2014 agreement, and we got straight to work. And I want to acknowledge the amazing team at the DC Department of Energy and the Environment for taking that work, being creative and steadfast, and helping us meet all of our goals. And they're led by Richard Jackson, who is the director, and I want to acknowledge Richard and the entire team. So we increased our water quality standards voluntarily, and we overachieved on those original goals. We have also been a leader in reducing toxic contaminants. Many of you will remember that we led the region in taking action around single-use plastic bags and styrofoam, which has had a tremendous impact on our waterways. We have also made it a priority to vastly increase our tree canopy. We've added over 60,000 new trees over the past decade, in part by meeting with and working with our residents through our River Smart program. and working with them to make improvements to their own properties. Residents added trees, rain barrels, and many also reduced impervious surfaces. Much of our success around water quality is directly tied to our Clean Rivers project. And keeping the Anacostia and the Potomac rivers clean is ultimately our greatest contribution to safeguarding the Chesapeake Bay. Just last month, we christened a new tunnel boring machine to help us clean up the Potomac River. And when it's done, the tunnel will reduce the volume of untreated wastewater going into the river by over 90%. And this builds upon the tremendous work that has already been completed on the Anacostia River Tunnel, which has reduced overflows into the Anacostia by 98%. And I especially want to call this out to our friends at the EPA in saying that we are keeping our commitments to clean up our rivers. These projects, and also thanks to our DC Water ratepayers who are making it possible, have prevented over 18.9 billion gallons of combined sewage and trash from overflowing into the river. And later this decade, DC Water will build the final tunnel, the Piney Branch Tunnel, which will also reduce sewage overflows by over 90%. Earlier, we had the chance to continue to review and share ideas around our revised agreement and approve it. And I can say that I am very encouraged and optimistic about the outcomes and how we continue to develop our workforce and streamline our organization to speed up our outcomes. Last year in DC, we released, for example, our environmental workforce strategic plan, and our team at DOEE is ensuring that we work with our Workforce Investment Council to understand where we have gaps, where we have high-paying green jobs, and ensure that more DC residents are getting those good jobs. We have really good experience in getting Washingtonians into green careers. We launched, for example, our Solar for All programs and workforce. And we've also listened to industry, who says we've done a great job training people for work in solar. And part of that work needs to focus now on training electricians. So we have partnerships with IBEW, Local 26, to recruit more DC residents to do this work as well. We all know, and we've heard from our constituents in our own jurisdictions and around the country, that part of the work ahead is making sure we are focused on affordability. And I couldn't agree with what Governor Youngkin said more, that our business goals and sustainability goals do not have to be opposed, and that we can focus on how we reduce energy costs, how we make more solar available and affordable, how we can use wind to power our own governments, how we can help seniors stay in their own homes, and how we can make sure the dream of owning a home is available to the next generation. And we can do all of that while protecting the Chesapeake Bay. So we continue to be proud to sign on. I continue to pledge the hardworking people of DC government to be a part of what we need to get done. And while today won't be my last meeting, we have 13 more months to go. I want to be completely clear that we will live up to our commitments and do even more. Governor, I want to say on behalf of 700,000 Washingtonians, may God continue to bless the Maryland crab. And it gives me pleasure now to introduce another friend from Maryland, Sarah Love.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser, and thank you for your many years of service. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
It is my honor to join you as the chair of the Chesapeake Bay Commission and to represent our 21 members. Our members are state legislators like me, cabinet officials, and citizen members from across Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. The Commission is the only member of the Executive Council that brings the legislative voice within our partnership. We believe in collaboration, bipartisanship, sound science, and shared learning, the hallmarks of Bay restoration. Over the past year, our partnership has focused on our shared vision for the Chesapeake Bay and its watershed. We've thought deeply about the targeted goals that we have set for ourselves and the ways in which we work together to achieve those goals. We have sought the expertise of scientists and practitioners in the field. We have balanced the needs of the many partners within this work. And we've kept our eyes open to the challenges that we face and the innovative ideas that will help us meet them. Now, after this period of evaluation and self-reflection, we are marking a new chapter in our partnership today. The refreshed Watershed Agreement will guide the next generation of Bay conservation. And I want to recognize and commend the immense amount of work, the countless hours, and the countless number of people who contributed to this completion. The subject matter experts, farmers, watermen, specialists in every field, private industry, nonprofit organizations, and individual members of the public. I want to particularly thank the Chesapeake Bay Commission Executive Director, Anna Killius, and the Chesapeake Bay Program's Science and Technical Advisory Committee for providing the independent analysis that became the foundation of our discussions. The fact that we were able to get this revision done in a year is truly because we were able to harness the power of the partnership. At the Chesapeake Bay Commission, we are proud of the path the revised agreement sets. It underscores our vigorous commitment to the 4 core components of a strong watershed: engaged communities, clean water, healthy landscapes, and thriving habitats, fisheries, and wildlife. It reflects our unanimous support for accelerating the completion of our current pollution reduction targets and sets clear timelines for developing and meeting the next set of targets. It prioritizes conservation by focusing on the many values our natural resources provide us and using every tool in the toolbox to protect and grow those values for the benefit of all. And it pushes us toward a new era in adaptive management, incorporating the latest scientific findings and accounting for our changing climate and environment in everything that we do. To be clear, the Watershed Agreement may not be perfect, but it reflects what we have learned over the last 40 years of partnership and what we hope to accomplish in the next 15. It is the product of consensus, of harnessing that power of partnership to go beyond what is comfortable and achievable on our own. It sets the standards we expect to meet and hope to exceed, and it holds the potential for us to do great things together if we act with urgency. We welcome everyone in this room and beyond to participate in achieving this agreement's goals and to share in the benefits of a healthy watershed and restored bay. As we move forward in implementation, we must be transparent in our planning by sharing both our short-term and long-term objectives. We must be accountable to our constituents by regularly collecting and publicly reporting our progress. And we must embrace a new chapter in engagement with our partners, including our advisory committees and the tribal nations within our region. At the Commission, we hold the Chesapeake Bay program up as a model for the nation of what is possible with state-led, federally backed, and community-driven restoration. I hope people notice what we at this table represent: bipartisan, multi-jurisdiction, consensus-driven agreement and partnership for the betterment of the Bay and its people. Now is the time to unite behind our agreement and boldly uphold this program, its progress, and the people who continue to dedicate so much to its future. Before I close, on behalf of the Commission, I'd like to extend our sincere thanks to Governor Moore for his leadership over the last 2 years. This was a pivotal time for our partnership, and Maryland's commitment to inclusion has made this revision process possible. Governor Youngkin, who has left us, I also want to commend him for his leadership and the incredible investment in agricultural conservation practices that his administration made. Our Virginia delegation certainly appreciated partnering with his administration to ensure full funding for those programs. And finally, congratulations to our next chair, Governor Shapiro. The Bay Commission is thrilled to work on this next chapter with you, and we pledge to stand with you and support you and your team in this next phase of Bay watershed conservation. Now I'll turn it over to EPA Deputy Administrator David Fatui.
Well, thank you very much, Senator Love, for the warm welcome and for your many contributions as chair of the Chesapeake Bay Commission and as a leader in Maryland. It's an honor for me to be here today to join this Executive Council and to represent EPA on behalf of the federal government. The Chesapeake Bay is one of America's greatest treasures. It's a vital resource for our environment, our economy, and our way of life. The communities across this watershed and the more than 18 million people who call the Bay Area home depend on its health, from farmers in Pennsylvania to crabbers in Maryland to boat builders in Virginia and everyone in between. This administration strongly believes that environmental protection and economic growth go hand in hand. We believe in the power of partnership and the power of cooperative federalism, and the progress that we can make when we work together with states and tribes, local governments, businesses, and citizens. EPA's role in this partnership is to represent the federal government, to be a supporter, to provide technical expertise and advice, and most importantly, to empower those closest to the Bay to make the best decision for their communities. Under this administration, we focused on common sense, practical environmental solutions, ones that aim to achieve environmental protection and economic growth while lowering the cost of living for Americans. As Governor Youngkin said eloquently, we've made it clear that you don't have to choose between a strong economy and a cleaner environment. You can have both. Well, what does that mean in the Chesapeake Bay? It means supporting state-led restoration efforts consistent with the amended Watershed Agreement. It means investing in local innovation, from precision agriculture to nutrient management to living shorelines and stormwater controls. And it means cutting red tape so that resources flow effectively to on-the-ground projects that deliver real results. The progress that we've seen in recent years, cleaner water, more underwater grasses, healthier fisheries, it's all a testament to the hard work of our partners and the strength of the collaborative model you've heard a lot about today. But we know there is more to do. To meet the goals that lie ahead, EPA will do a number of things. We will provide funding, technical expertise, and data to support our state and local partners. We will support and coordinate partnership efforts consistent with our authorities in the Clean Water Act in Section 117. We will encourage innovation in land and water management, and we will ensure accountability and transparency so that taxpayers know their tax dollars are making a tangible difference. We will also know that non-point source pollution remains a complex challenge, but that we can tackle it together. The Chesapeake Bay Commission, our state and DC partners, and both EPA and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are united in showcasing current efforts, sharing best practices, and driving leadership in both agricultural and developed sectors. The work is essential not only because we hear the urgency from stakeholders across this region, but because the future of the Bay depends on it. The Bay's story is one of partnership, and it's a reminder that when Americans work together, we can restore what's been lost and protect what we love for future generations. The administration is fully committed to restoring the Chesapeake watershed. Earlier this morning, I joined with others on the council in approving the amended Chesapeake Bay Watershed Agreement. The agreement is not just a document. It's a continuation of a commitment that began over 4 decades ago, reinforced by the last signing in 2014. It's a recognition that this partnership is working and that the progress we've seen in restoring, conserving, and protecting the Chesapeake Bay is a testament to the dedication of each of the members here today. I want to take a moment to thank EPA's Bay Office and every EPA employee working on Bay issues. I want to thank Regional Administrator Amy Van Blericombe Lackey and our head of our Bay Office, Dan Coogan, for their immense contributions to getting us here today and for the work that lies ahead. As we move forward, EPA is committed to building on the progress we've made, to working with each of you to ensure that the Chesapeake Bay remains a symbol of both environmental renewal and American resilience. Playoff music, I guess. So with that, let me express my gratitude once again for being here today, and I'd like to hand it over to Elizabeth Walters, Deputy Commissioner for the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets. Thank you.
Thank you so much. New York is committed to protecting water quality, wildlife, habitat, and landscape within our portion of the Chesapeake Bay watershed, all while promoting access to this incredible natural resource. New York continues to make progress in significant recent investments totaling more than $43 million. All of these investments that I'm going to rattle off in other programs, all are only within our portion of the Chesapeake Bay watershed. $34 million for wastewater treatment upgrades and non-point source pollution control, $800,000 for aquatic connectivity projects to replace culverts and increase fish passage and stream rehabilitation. New York's 25 million tree initiative has resulted in more than 130,000 trees being planted since January 2024. Our 30 by 30 initiative has preserved more than 300,000 acres within the watershed, 8.6% of the total area in New York State. Every year, the Department of Agriculture and Markets awards agricultural non-point source pollution control program and our climate resilient farming program. We did $6.3 million in ag non-point and $1.2 million in climate resilient farming. This helps with nutrient management, storage, forest rehabilitation on farms, repairing buffers, many programs that our farmers want to invest in, and we are always oversubscribed in those programs. So we have a great partnership with our soil and water conservation districts that help make those programs possible. New York's significant investment in strategic programs are paying real dividends within the Chesapeake watershed. Between 2014 and 2024, we've reduced more than 2.4 million pounds of nitrogen and 160,000 pounds of total phosphorus entering the watershed. Most of these were seen in agricultural and wastewater sectors. In addition to these investments, our state agencies are working with our local communities to plan for a more resilient and sustainable future. Our Resilient New York program is currently working on 4 flood studies within the Chesapeake, and we have plans for several more, 3 coming up in the next couple of years. 44 communities in the watersheds are registered as climate smart communities. New York continues to improve accessibility opportunities within the watershed. We have a recreation destination interactive map. There are 107 New York State Department of Environmental Conservation operated boat launches and 58 public fishing and parking areas. 26 of these sites incorporate accessibility features, including hand boat launches, accessible parking spots, and trails to nearby fishing and viewing platforms. These New York State investments are in addition to federal, local, NGO funds pursued, awarded, and implemented for the conservation in New York portion of the watershed by the Upper Susquehanna Coalition of Soil and Water Conservation Districts. We applaud their organization, efforts, and accomplishment. As a headwater state, New York is proud to join our federal, state, and local partners in the watershed. We reaffirm our commitment to the revised Chesapeake Bay Watershed Agreement and the essential goals it contains for the health of this important natural resource. Turning now to another headwater state, West Virginia, I'm happy to introduce Jeremy Bandy, Director of the Division of Water and Waste Management.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's an honor to be here today. I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge the tremendous amount of work that has gone into amending the Watershed Agreement and restructuring the governance of this partnership. Given the challenging time frame, this has truly been a Herculean effort. West Virginia offers a sincere thank you to all involved in that process. As we move past 2025, West Virginia is proud to announce we have successfully met our 2025 nutrient and sediment planning targets. This milestone is a testament to the efforts across our entire partnership within West Virginia. And we should all take great pride that the Chesapeake Bay is clearly trending in a positive direction. West Virginia has also realized significant water quality improvement of local waters resulting from the implementation of Chesapeake Bay management practices. The most positive example is the South Branch Potomac River, where a prior nuisance algae impairment has been resolved by enhanced nutrient reduction technology implemented by the town of Moorefield, and for which the impairment has now been removed from West Virginia's Section 303D list. However, these successes do not mean our work here is done. West Virginia remains deeply committed to continuing our efforts to improve our aquatic resources and enhance the lives of those who live and work in our Chesapeake Bay region and across the entire partnership. This partnership has repeatedly shown a considerable ability to adapt as new science emerges, and as we grasp a better understanding of the natural world around us. It is with this adaptive spirit and open mind that we will be able to move forward and continue to move the needle in a positive direction. It is only through this continued collaborative effort with all our partners and stakeholders that we can ensure that this truly one-of-a-kind resource will be around, healthy and vibrant for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Bandy. And it is now my pleasure to not just turn the microphone over to, but also turn the gavel over to my friend, Governor Josh Shapiro of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You know, for the past 2 years, I had the honor of serving as the chair of this organization. And I've had the honor to do it in partnership with all these folks up here and all of you. You know, I think about it from as an Army guy, from a military perspective, these have been my battle buddies. These have been the folks who we've all understood that we all have a collective, not just sense of responsibility, but a collective incentive to make sure that we're covering down on our lane. And if we do that, and the people to our left and our right cover down on theirs, that we're going to be okay. That as the old African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But we actually show that in this moment, you can actually do both. You can go fast and you can go far. But you have to be able to understand that moving with a measure of impatience and a measure of inclusiveness do not have to be competing ideas. We are impatient. We want this to be the era of yes and now. And we want to be inclusive to show that we are going to protect all of those involved in our society, whether it's bringing on our tribal nations and their leadership, our first inhabitants, or whether it's bringing on our farmers, our first conservationists. And I'm thrilled to have somebody who exudes that and shows what that looks like in our next chair, in Governor Josh Shapiro. That we know that in this moment that we've made real progress, but more is required. More is coming. And that we do stand here with an obligation both to those who came before us, who are looking down on us and hoping that we get this moment right, and those who will come after us, who are looking up at us and saying, we hope you get this moment right. And so I'm thrilled to have my friend Governor Josh Shapiro taking over as the new chair. And with that, I actually have a gift for him as well. Oh yeah, it's not Ravens gear. It's
It's good.
But I have a gift that I want to give to Governor Shapiro. I'm going to open his gift for him because that's what we do in my household. It's actually a fishing hat. And we've got all the lures and everything ready to go. I'm excited to get him on the Maryland side of the Chesapeake Bay soon. And we can go out to some blue catfish and get those things out of the water. So, Mr. Governor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Governor Moore. You know, I will cherish this. I look forward to getting out on the bay with you. And I'll just say this. I think all of these positions of public service are a public trust. And you heard Governor Youngkin speak about his tenure coming to an end. All of our tenures eventually come to an end. And I think all of us share the same responsibility, and I would argue the same outlook, that, you know, it is our job when we are in these positions to take the baton from those who came before us, and run a few extra miles, and leave this place a little better than the way we found it. Governor Moore, you have run fast and you have run far on your watch, on your leadership here with the Chesapeake Bay, and I am grateful for your service, and we are better off as an organization. The Bay is better off. It is cleaner. There is more opportunity in it because of your service. And what I know that most of you don't get the opportunity to see what I have had the chance to see, and that is Governor Moore's leadership personally has affected the work of this organization. He's not just simply delegated it, though you have incredibly able staff and a wonderful cabinet doing this work. You have personally led on this issue, and I've been impressed by your personal dedication and your personal know-how. And I got big shoes to fill, and I look forward to filling them. And when we go out on the water, I hope, if you don't mind, you'd wear this hat that I got for you. This beautiful blue crab here is going to look great on your dome.
Yeah.
I look forward to getting out there.
It's going to look great on my plate, too.
So thank you sincerely. I appreciate your leadership and appreciate the work of each member of this Executive Council. And I think it is important for me not just to serve as the next chair, though I'm honored to do that. I think it's important for me as a Pennsylvanian to be part of this conversation. I think for a long time, Pennsylvania took a back seat when it came to cleaning up the Bay, and now we are helping lead that discussion. My administration, building on the important efforts of my predecessor, Governor Wolf, has really worked hard to change the reputation that Pennsylvania had earned over many years. I made commitments when I was elected governor to clean up our waterways, to support our farmers, and grow the tourism economy that relies on clean air and pure water in Pennsylvania and beyond. Our Commonwealth boasts a constitution where in Article 1, Section 27, each and every one of our citizens has a right to clean air and pure water. We take that responsibility very, very seriously. And under the great leadership of Secretary Jess Shirley of the Department of Environmental Protection, Secretary Russell Redding of the Department of Agriculture, and Secretary Cindy Dunn, who I refer to as Cindy Fun Dunn because she does all the fun stuff, leading the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We are working together to deliver on those commitments. And I want to thank the three of you, together with our Deputy Chief of Staff, Sam Robinson, who leads our environmental policy, for your great work. We appreciate you very, very much. It is We have made progress largely under their leadership by giving local communities the tools and the funding to improve their local watersheds, plant forested stream buffers, and to restore wetlands. And we did it by working with landowners and with farmers, because when our waterways are healthy, they have more opportunity. Let me give you just one example of that progress we've made, working together in partnership, as Governor Moore preaches. Because of the conservation work that we funded, homeowners in Pine Grove Borough, which is up in Schuylkill County, no longer have to worry about flooding along the Swatara Creek. And when there's less flooding, that means there is less runoff, less sediment polluting our waterways. We also know that our farmers are our strongest conservationists. So we've helped them invest in more sustainable infrastructure that keeps sediment and nutrients out of our waterways while creating a more prosperous ag sector. Now, as a result, Pennsylvania is back in the game, and Pennsylvania is doing our part. For the second year in a row, the portion of the bay that the Susquehanna River flows into, the same river that flows right past the governor's residence, I looked out on this morning in a very snowy morning, wondering if I was going to make it here to Baltimore. It got the second best grade of the entire watershed. I'm competitive as hell. I'd always like to be first, but for Pennsylvania to be second after the years where we were in the cellar, let me tell you something. We are incredibly proud of the progress that we've made. Let me just share another snapshot of our progress. Consider this for just a moment. Nitrogen, as we all know, is one of the major pollutants that we track to measure progress in the Bay cleanup. In just the last 5 years alone, Pennsylvania has reduced our nitrogen runoff by 10 times more than we had reduced it in the entire decade before. That is meaningful progress that is improving the Bay. We've also planted nearly 945 miles of buffers along rivers and streams and restored 139 miles of streams to water quality standards that are acceptable. We've accomplished all of this by working together with farmers, with landowners, with local, county, and federal government partners to make sure conservation isn't viewed as a burden on Pennsylvania, but rather an opportunity for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I view collaborating with each and every one of you, with your state and with the District of Columbia, as an important part of that progress we've made. I'm grateful to the leadership at the EPA. We're grateful to our partners at the ICC. I've enjoyed collaborating with Governor Youngkin, and we wish him well as we prepare to welcome in Governor-elect Spanberger to this important body. I'm pleased to work with Governor Matt Meyer, who I know is deeply committed to this partnership, both from his work as governor and the work he did prior to serving as governor. We thank Mayor Muriel Bowser for making this a priority with all that you have on your plate. And as I mentioned before, I am incredibly grateful for the leadership of Governor Moore. His personal work as chair has set a new standard of excellence that I hope to be able to meet. I want to recognize that now more than ever, there is an importance to multi-state alliances, an importance to states working together to solve the big problems that we are facing in this nation. And I think more than ever, states need to rally together to continue to make progress on the things that matter most. I'm incredibly proud to be elected chair of this council, to continue that collaborative work with all of you, to find ways for states to work together to make progress. And over the next year, I want us to continue to make even more progress speedily when it comes to cleaning up the Bay. We're going to take that revised Chesapeake Bay Watershed Agreement that Governor Moore spoke about earlier and put it into practice quickly and with purpose. And as we move beyond 2025, we must continue to work together to create a sustainable and streamlined Chesapeake Bay program. You know that I don't want to just talk about making progress. I want us to make progress. We live by 3 letters in Pennsylvania. We focus on GSD. And since this is a highbrow crowd, I'll just say that stands for Get Stuff Done. And that is our motto, and that is our mantra, and that is the way I intend to lead this organization forward. I also want to focus for just a moment, not just on the importance of cleaning up the Bay, but the power of the Bay to drive economic growth for each of our states and for the District of Columbia. I think the Bay is a powerful driver of opportunity for everyone, from our fishermen to our outdoor rec outfitters, to our farmers, to the small business owners who benefit when tourists visit our waterways and then hang out on our main streets. We are focused and determined on making sure the Bay is an important economic driver in this nation. My administration in Pennsylvania is proud of the progress that we have made. We're going to continue to do this work for years to come. We'll continue to fund the important work that needs to be done as well. We're going to keep building partnerships to deliver a cleaner watershed and more opportunity for our community. Pennsylvania is back in the game, and we are all in when it comes to the Bay. I think this is a moment of hope and a moment of optimism for the Bay and for our respective states in the District of Columbia. I look forward to working together with all of you to restore the Chesapeake Bay for generations to come and to build on this important work that Governor Moore has led over the last 2 years. And with that, I'll turn it back to my friend and colleague, Governor Moore.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm excited to get out.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Blue Cat, let's go after him. It is my honor now to officially turn the gavel over to you, Mr. Governor, with not just a deep sense of appreciation for your leadership, for your vision, for your friendship, but also with a deep degree of excitement that your leadership is going to continue reminding those still even yet unborn how much we care, that the great heirloom that we inherited is one that's going to be even greater when they inherit it as well. So, Mr. Governor, congratulations. God bless you. And thanks, people.
Thank you very much. It is my intention to never have to use this gavel because we're all going to work together and get along. But I think we're at the point of the agenda where we can take a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Governor Moore, second by Governor Meyer. I will use it this one time because this thing is beautiful. Look
It
at
is
the
gorgeous.
keystone right here. I'll use it this one time to end the meeting. Thank you all for being here. We look forward to seeing you in Pennsylvania next when the weather is warm and beautiful. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Okay.
I'm sorry, we're only taking questions about what happened at the meeting today. So yes, you up there?
Thank you so much. I mean, I think that the reason it's important to keep on revitalizing the health of the Bay is because it's connected to everything about our society. It's connected to our economy. It's connected to our food and making sure that people are, have adequate resources. It's connected to people who they rely on the Bay in their livelihood. It's connected to those when it comes to environmental health. So, so everything about who we are and who we hope to be is connected to the Chesapeake Bay. And I think it's also something that when you look at how all of these states have come together who believe in this, this is actually the largest single gathering of principles that we have seen for the Chesapeake, for the work around the Chesapeake Bay, that we've seen in over 10 years, having this many principles actually here on site. That if you look at what we're doing in the state of Maryland, that I'm surrounded not just by one cabinet secretary, but literally our Secretary of Planning, our Secretary of the Environment, our Secretary of Agriculture, our Secretary of Natural Resources, our Secretary of Commerce. So every aspect, we don't look at this necessarily as a lane, but we look at it as a lens. And so I think one of the greatest things that you can do for your future is actually to protect it. And I think that protecting this great heirloom of the Chesapeake Bay is a way that you're actually speaking to the future.
I'll take that. We are taking climate change and resiliency not as a single goal, but taking it throughout every single goal, every single outcome. It is the lens through which we look at everything. So rather than actually taking it out, we're spreading it throughout the entire agreement.
Sorry, we only had the time for 2 questions. We're way over, but you can feel free to send any of the media contacts in the press pockets you received the questions you have, and we'll make sure they get answered. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all.
Thanks all.